So Vince Lombardi once said that it takes months to find a customer and seconds to lose one. So I really trust that from the talk with Uzipho, you took lots of notes, that you thought about what your customer relationships look like at the moment, and you've thought about different ways that you could adjust those relationships, how you can build really good relationships, but also really be mindful about the fact that to build and grow a successful business, your customers make all the difference. And we look forward to hearing more about what you're doing with your customers. So please do head over to social media at Sasol SA. Remember to use the hashtag Sasol Built to Last, and we'd like to hear from you, your thoughts around today, what you're doing with your business, where to next. And speaking about where to next, I'm going to invite back up onto the stage for our closing panel discussion, and you'll see in the chat and comment section, I've posted a question just to consolidate your questions. We're going to be having a panel discussion with the Sasol ESD team. I have noted some of your questions that you guys have posted throughout the day, so I will be asking some of those questions. But if there's anything else that you did want to have addressed and that you perhaps didn't ask earlier on, just reply to that particular comment that I just put up now, and then we will address those in this session now. So I'd like to invite back up to the stage Mr. Lebelo Lukelo, who's the Chief Procurement Officer, and joining him is Ms. Jabulile Ratsebe, who is the head of ESD here at Sasol. And we're going to be chatting about the programs that you heard earlier on that were mentioned. We're going to discuss a few programs that were discussed in previous sessions. So if this is chapter 3, so if you were part of chapter 1 and chapter 2, and there was things that were mentioned there, we're going to be recapping on those and letting you know how do you participate, how do you get your name in the bag, where Sasol is around to help and to support, and really to talk a bit more about all the things that we're doing here at Sasol to support you as SMEs. So let us see your virtual hands clapping together as we welcome to the stage Jabulile and Lukele. Where do we sit? Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. So you are the people that I think every session the people want to hear from, and they want to find out, what's what, and how do we participate. I think today has been a really great session, starting out the day with mental health and then talking a little bit around some of the enabling technologies and functions that people need to have. And the question that consistently comes up on the chat is, okay, yes, I want to be there, I want to participate. How can I participate? Where can I go to participate? So I want to start firstly with the Women in Engineering program, and that was spoken about earlier on with Nadia. So for people who missed those details, I think maybe I should put this to you to go, for people who want to participate in the Women in Engineering program, just a quick sound bite on what that's about and how people can be part of that.
Thank you, Nsigi. I think, to be fair, it being a Women in Engineering program, I'd allow my learned colleague here to respond to it.
Well, and there's two of them, right? So there's the Sasol Accelerator program and the Women in Engineering.
She can talk to both.
So then I'll automatically then give you I'll let you both respond to those.
Yeah, no, thanks, Ntiki, and really, thanks for a very fruitful day today. About the Women in Engineering program, we are looking at, as was mentioned by Nadia, kicking off early in the new year, so during the first quarter. We will have the information out. I think if people were to check out our social media, as well as the Warm Hub, they're also very much present on LinkedIn. We'll advertise it through the various channels to make sure that we reach out as many people as possible. So yeah, people must just be on the lookout and they can apply.
For both programs?
No, specifically for the SPA program, it's going to be with Sasol social media again. So it's the Women in Engineering that is run by Warm Hub that will be on their social media as well.
Okay, perfect. And then there was a question that came through around accessing opportunities at Sasol. And people want to know, how do I know when there's an opportunity? How do I participate in that? Is there a fast track channel? I know last time I was here, we launched the linkage platform and we spoke about that extensively. Where are we with that?
Yeah. So the opportunities tab is now live on Linkage platform. So all the opportunities in terms of the contracts that are going to be coming up, specifically where the SMEs can participate, will be advertised on the Linkage platform. So I think people can start making sure that they, those that had received the link, they update their profiles. Important to note that the SMEs that will be able to participate in those opportunities are those that are graded platinum. So if you are graded bronze, silver, gold, it means that you still have to go through a development process, which we as ESD can support. And those that are platinum then are the ones that can be able to really raise their hands up and say that I can apply. But they will be visible to all SMEs.
Okay, great. And then there's a question around tenders and RFPs and so forth. So just for clarity, will that platform offer the same, highlight those same opportunities as well, or are those two different processes?
Yeah, so what we are going to show on the linkage platform is two different types of opportunities. It will either be a development opportunity, so where we have identified an opportunity where we're saying that we need to have a pool of SMEs that we need to develop. Like your typical SBA program or the typical Women in Engineering program, we'll also then have it as advertised as a development opportunity. But we will also be advertising procurement opportunity, which will be for those SMEs that are procurement ready, that they can be able to participate. Just maybe important to note is that we have different types of opportunities. They could be contract opportunities, so long-term contracts, or they could be short-term contracts. Sometimes we have very short-term requirements that need a speed of response within a week. Chances are you will not see those kind of opportunities on the platform because of the time that will take and that is required to respond. But for opportunities where there is a longer lead time for us to be able to source and make sure that we follow our due diligence, then those will be visible on the linkage platform. So it's not all opportunities, it's opportunities suitable for SMEs and specifically those that don't need a very short turnaround time.
Okay, fantastic. And then this wasn't specifically put here, and I'm sure if somebody goes onto linkage, they'll be able to see the details. But for somebody who wants to know, okay, I've attended a couple of these chapters, I think I'm a pretty good SME. Do you kind of have a reference for this criteria, for somebody who goes, I've been applying and I haven't gotten to platinum status, or I'm stuck and I'm not sure how to get to platinum status? What are some of the key things that you guys do look for?
Yeah, so important to note, so if you want to be invited on linkage, you can send an email to info.esd@sasol.com. We will be able to then send you a link to the linkage platform where you will be invited to upload your profile. The platform will give you the grading once you have requested grading. I think the mistake that sometimes people make is that they populate the information but they don't request to be graded. So you need to request to be graded, and if you are graded between blue to gold, it depends on whether we've got a current opportunity that is available. So we've taken a decision to only develop SMEs on the basis of available opportunities. If you are platinum and there's an opportunity that is available and you see it advertised, you can put your hand up. Or else our buyers can be able to, they also go to linkage to be able to identify SMEs that they can invite for a sourcing opportunity. Again, I just want to emphasize that the linkage platform is not a transacting platform for us as Sasol, so we'll still use our normal transacting platforms like your Ariba platform, but then we'll then be taking SMEs from the linkage platform and then ensuring that they meet the minimum requirements for them to be able to be invited for those opportunities. Okay. So when a company is sitting at silver, gold, and they don't meet an opportunity and we still have time to develop, we'll make sure that we develop them so that they can participate competitively. So it's the no guarantees. So we have to make sure that we still have the right quality SMEs that are providing a service to us, like you've seen today. I think, across the board, I'm sure everybody will agree the panel members, which are predominantly SMEs, are really good quality SMEs. So we still will not compromise on quality. We need to make sure that the people can be able to provide the service that is required or the goods that we actually require from our side. So we will then assist them to meet the minimum requirements, but they will still compete.
Okay, fantastic. And then there's a comment, I don't think this is a direct question for you, but just for the team to know behind the scenes. Unduduzo earlier on did ask that we share the names of the speakers so they can connect with them on social media, which is nice. So I think you can find all of our speakers and connect with them on Facebook. And at the moment, I think those are all the questions. Let me just see this one reply. Okay, so Adele is asking that she is on the linkage platform and she has platinum status. However, they don't have a vendor number as yet.
Yes.
Will this have any impact?
So as I have mentioned, when she's platinum, it means that she can be ready. So when there's opportunity that is available for a particular scope, I think we also just need to understand that once we've committed opportunities to a contract, during a 2 or 3 year period, we do not make that opportunity available again. I mean, if you were to be an SME that has got a contract, you would not want then to find out tomorrow that opportunity is being made available to somebody else. So sometimes you just have to wait for the time for that particular opportunity to be available for a contract again, so that you can be able to participate on it. So I think it's a good thing that she's sitting at Platinum. She must continue to look at opportunities that are being advertised and see whether she can, her scope, the services that she's offering are in line with what we would like. But on our side, the minute the SME is sitting at Platinum and they qualify, then we will make sure that we help them getting through the process of getting a vendor number.
All right. And then just to add more clarity to that, sorry. Yes, Levelo.
Yeah, sorry, I just wanted to expand, Jabulile, on the points you've made. And by the way, you didn't need me here. You're doing a great job. What is important is for people to understand that we've been running an open vendor application process for a couple of years now, and that the size of the cake of the Sasol work is not necessarily expanding. In fact, as we do optimization of our external spend, some of it would be reduced to an extent. However, we'll still continue with our imperatives of making sure that there's sufficient integration of our small enterprises. It is important, therefore, for people to be realistic around expectations, that it does not necessarily mean that we've gone through all of those gradings and you are now at the right status, that you automatically then would be given work. There's still processes of saying, is there a need for that service at the moment? Do we have contracted service providers for it? And do we have enough of those so that we allow others to be on a pool of people we can pull on as and when we need them? But it is absolutely important that I must emphasize the point that being taken through the process is not in itself a guarantee for work within Sasol. We're sitting as it stands with a backlog of at least 3,600 applications that we need to process for people who want to do business with us. It's not sustainable. It's also pointless to accredit everybody and put them on the list and then people compete for crumbs. You'd rather work with cohorts of groups of people, make them sustainable, and as they grow to bigger companies, you can start bringing others into the process.
Okay.
Thanks, Jack.
Thank you very much for that clarity. And then Lawrence was asking here, he says that I'm graded gold and have been in business for less than 3 years. Would I be able to see the opportunities?
You will be able to see the opportunities, but you would not be able to participate in the opportunity.
Okay.
So what it means, Lawrence, is that if we've got an adequate number of SMEs, let's say for argument's sake there's a particular scope and it's sitting in the civil environment, it is for painting this business. And we've already got 15 SMEs that are already have got vendor numbers, they are in the system, and they really can execute the scope. We're not going to introduce new ones because we need to make sure, to the point that Libelo has made, we need to make sure that there's sustainability on the SMEs that we have in the system. So for that particular opportunity, it means that we are maybe oversubscribed, and therefore, for now, we will not do anything about it. However, if there is a particular scope where we have limited number of SMEs, and really this is where we're trying to get to. We're trying to get to ensure that we integrate SMEs also in those difficult scopes, and not just look at the scopes that you've got hundreds of SMEs that want to participate in. We're really looking for SMEs that can participate in engineering environment, for instance. I mean, this is why we had an open application process for the SBA program. And we find that in some of these areas, we really have limited number of SMEs that are putting their hands up. So there is an element of it depends on the scope that they are offering and whether it is in line with where we think that there is a shortage within the company, and we need to make sure that we integrate those SMEs. But again, to your point around the SBA program, we had it open, for instance, and closed. We're targeting to have 15 SMEs to be integrated in the new cohort. On the SBA program. We were specific around the region that we're looking at. We're looking at the SMEs that were in closer to our Sasolburg plant. So some of the SMEs obviously would not be able to participate because they're not based in that region. And really it is because we also got to think localization in the decisions that we're making. And we found we really didn't have the right quality of SMEs that we can integrate into the plant in that environment. So what that has meant is that we now have to reopen the opportunity but broaden the geographical area to make sure that we've got other SMEs that are prepared to go to the environment that we integrate into the system. So scope is very important. And those opportunities are really good opportunities for SMEs. I mean, we're not looking for, easy, services where we're going to say that, it's all in the professional services or you're cutting grass or you're catering or whatever. These are real engineering-related opportunities, but there's just not enough SMEs that are willing to put their hands up for those.
Cool. And if you did miss that, I would recommend that you go back as it reopens and see if you meet the criteria, because it is a really great opportunity. I want to combine two questions here and then see if we can just kind of get a final general response. So Emmanuel was asking to say that they recently started a clothing line store and they wanted to know how to grow worldwide. And then Dalkolo wanted to find out about the frequency of opportunities. So my combined question is, I think it's just, maybe just an opportunity to clarify the specificity of the kinds of opportunities that Sasol makes available to SMEs and the frequency of those, because I would assume there's certain contracts, as you said earlier on, that maybe run for 3 years, and maybe there's other ones that are more, there's a higher turnaround for the frequency of an intake on that. So if you could just maybe speak to those two things.
Can I offer you that one?
Thank you. To start with, Sasol is a petrochemical plant, and therefore all opportunities that we'll make available will have to talk to the value chain within a petrochemical plant. The things we buy needs to associate with the kind of goods and services you would require to run in operations like ours. So it's important that people, when they do want to align with our opportunities, it's aligned with that. The global question around a clothing brand and growing that, we probably would not be spending time developing those people, because it creates unnecessary challenges for us, because you don't want to develop people that you cannot integrate into your own processes. I think charity begins at home. We'd want to grow and develop people so that once they exit our development programs, they can be expanding into other areas outside of Sasol. It is not our intention to hog onto people that we've developed, but we'd want to see them grow as an imperative of growing the social cohesion in this country. So that's more the opportunities we'd advertise. And it would be more opportunities, as I said, on a needs basis, as and when the need comes around, we would make those available. So it's not an open tendering platform process that we follow, it's a needs-based and to a group of people that would have been accredited. For SMMEs, the linkage provides a better platform because they get opportunities that would be ring-fenced for SMMEs and advertised in that platform. Nsiki.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for that clarity. And I think that's good to know as a SME who participates in this webinar series, that you know where you are currently as a business and how you can adjust yourself to fit with what Sasol is looking for, and to also know if you are an entrepreneur that meets the requirements. But also I think these sessions are fantastic for any SME who's wanting to grow. And I'm sure that from the content from today that you have been able to look back at your business and go, okay, this is how I can better improve myself as an SME. We have run out of time on this particular session, but I just do want to know from people, if people want to know where to from here, are there any specific things that you'd like to highlight that, if we are, the people rubbing shoulders, that we can get inside information on?
Yeah, I think, I think maybe what I would like to talk about is I'm hoping people are getting value out of these sessions that we're running. And really to not just be hooked on one corporate in terms of, where can they provide their services to. We hope that as the SMEs talk, and I like this morning, those SMEs that were saying, I am so-and-so and I'm from this company. I think even further, because this is a platform for also, for the SMEs to advertise, to other SMEs, because you're running a business, right? So if you were to have your business being only focused on corporates or one corporate, you're limiting your market. And really we should be getting to make sure that we develop our businesses to a point where we can offer our services to Africa.
Yes.
We can offer our services globally. So let's not limit in terms of, I'm based in Sasolburg and therefore I'm just going to look at Sasol as my potential customer. So I think important for me is I'm hoping SMEs, they're taking the information that is being shared, by all these experts that are coming here and asking themselves how can they integrate the information into their own environments and how can they make sure that they provide their services taking into account the tools that they need to have. Where we can support and those people are within our value chain, obviously we will support, but important that we also just look at at a wider platform. So where to from here? We will have another webinar. So we'll have the 4th chapter that is coming up, which is sort of almost like wrapping up the year. It was a 4-part series that we're looking at. So we'll have the last chapter looking at how can we then start saying, now you're out there, you've got the skills, you've got the competency, you've learned, you've made contact with some of the companies that we're providing services from the panel, and I know that my business is ready, so we invite them, if they are part of our value chain, to be part of the linkage. Again, info.esd@sasol.com. You send out an email and you say you want to be invited on linkage platform, we'll do that. We'll continue to share opportunities that become available. Those opportunities, they could be a year opportunity or they could be a little bit longer depending on the scope and depending on where they are required. But we also remain available to try and connect people whenever we can. So unfortunately, there's a script that is meant for all these, these special people, because really the idea is to make sure that there's equal access. People have got the same access to information. I get people calling me at times to say that, can you tell us A, B, C, and D? And I'm saying the information has got to be available to everybody at the same time, which is exactly why we're having, these sessions, and we allow people to ask us questions so that we can respond and they have the same information and not rely on their cousin that works for Sasol that they know.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So once again, if you are interested in being invited to be on the linkage platform, so that allows you to register yourself as a business, get vetted, receive your status, and know where you are on for your status to be able to work with Sasol. And then from there, you'll then be able to participate in opportunities. So you can send an email to info.esd@sasol.com. Javulile, Levele, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate you coming up here and sharing and answering some questions for us.
Thank you very much.
Exit the stage that way.